Your faith guides you every day, certainly mine does.
Should a politician be expected to keep separate his or her personal faith from the political arena? Or should we expect a politician to make decisions based on his or her faith and moral values? What do you think? Faith has been part of politics since the day Joseph advised Pharaoh. But when does faith and politics become to be a dangerous mix?
Some have wondered if religion is the enemy of peace, if religion is the problem, not the solution. For it is clear that if there is no peace between religions, there will be no peace in the world. The United Nations is one place, one forum, one village square in our global neighborhood to connect with our neighbors and to see whether we can cross borders of states and faith and to find the common ground.
The handbook of this particular child care is a universal handbook. It's been around for a long time. It doesn't need to be invented. It's let me see your handbook there. This handbook is a good go-by.
Preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Can a president who pledged to defend the Constitution use the Bible for public policy? Can you differentiate between such a presidential public display and some Al-Qaeda members holding their holy book? If this is not the same kind of battle raging now between modernists and fundamentalists across much of the world, then what is it?
Should America use its vast power in ways that inspire respect, not resentment? We have enormous hard power, military strength, economic strength. We are the Goliath. But we don't use well enough or often enough our soft power. The power of persuasion, the power of example, the power of our values.
The Quranic narrative describes this ethic, or what I call the Abrahamic ethic, as the belief in one God. It is a message about, to use corporate language, about God Inc., with Jesus, Muhammad, and Moses and all the other prophets as regional managers. It is for us to stop thinking of religion as Moses Inc., Jesus Inc., Muhammad Inc., because that creates the paradigm of clash.
Bruce Bartlett, a 53-year-old columnist and self-described libertarian Republican who has lately been a champion for the traditional Republicans concerned about Bush's governance. He is quoted to say, "George Bush is so clear-eyed about Al-Qaeda and the Islamic fundamentalist enemy. He believes you have to kill them all. They can't be persuaded. That they're extremists driven by a dark vision. He understands them because he's just like them." End of quote.
Americans do not yet have the distance of history, but our responsibility to history is already clear: to answer these attacks and rid the world of evil.
September 11th came, and the born-again president sounded more like his Islamic fundamentalist enemy he pledged to kill.
We will rid the world of the evildoers.
The president's religious language took on a different tone.
We've never seen this kind of evil before. But the evildoers have never seen the American people in action before either, and they're about to find out.
Muslims have always asked, which religions does a suicide bomber represent? It certainly is not Islam, as the president may hint.
Every nation in every region now has a decision to make. Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists.
The president may truly believe he is on a mission from God. He is doing God's work, but so does Al-Qaeda. Faith without knowledge is nothing more than blind ideology, unless faith ultimately leads to no God. Any other orientation is doomed. Unless, of course, It is serving this ultimate purpose.
Freedom and fear, justice and cruelty have always been at war, and we know that God is not neutral between them.
Does God take sides? According to President Bush, yes. God is on his side. He does God's work. Make no mistake, this is the junction when politics and religion become a dangerous mix.
If you see God as a being like ourselves, writ large, with likes and dislikes similar to our own, it's all too easy to make that God endorse some of your worst fears, loathings, and hatreds. We're seeing a lot of that kind of religion today. God is on my side.
From the Quranic point of view of history, all of the prophets and messengers, Moses, Jesus, from Adam to Muhammad, all of them came to basically state this fundamental message of the oneness of God and the oneness of humanity.
If you ask me, is peace realistic or not realistic, politically as an astute person, I think it is realistic, but I don't think that prophetic religion is about realism. It is about the promise of God that we continuously strive towards.
In the area of peace, if you'd asked me a couple of years ago, I would have said that we were doing much better in the issue of peace. We come to a time when people keep saying there's no world wars. We no longer feel the atomic bomb threat as we did in the time of the Cold War. But now we come to these wars like the war in Iraq, which is disturbing the whole world and disturbing relationships between countries that have at one time been friends and making it difficult to establish new relationships. So I would say in the area of peace, we're maybe at a 3.
It is an irony of history that the United States, which provided the first example of concept of separation of church and state to the world, at the same time finds its own president's policies dominated by the politics of personal religion. For SoulTv, I am Patricia Raymond.